Today in our studio, we're speaking with the president and CEO of Flyht, Bill Tempany.
Well, we've had customers that say they save $100,000 per tail net of our costs.
He's here to tell us how Flyht believes their technology can make air travel safer and save airlines money. Hi Bill, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Let's start a little bit about how Flyht got started.
Flyht was started by three individuals that had a lot of experience in aviation, particularly on certification of modifications to aircraft. They started out building mechanical devices for aircraft like ice shields for King Airs. And then a friend of theirs approached them about collecting data on the out, off, on, in times for aircraft in Austria. Those are the times that airlines use to run their business and are very important to them from both a maintenance and an operations perspective. So they set off on a path to build the first AFIRS unit, which was intended to be used with a cell phone and send a fax to the maintenance base so that they could keep track of how many flights and how many hours the aircraft had to do maintenance on them. It's had a long history of being in the aviation business, building specialized solutions for customers, and is now one of the leading communication companies in the aviation space in the world.
Now, what are the problems in the industry that you're solving?
Well, some of the problems we're solving in the industry doesn't recognize they have. One of the things that aviation companies do is they build specific boxes for specific solutions. So one box will work as a radio, another box will work as a data collection device, another box will work as a display to the cockpit device. What the AFIRS unit does is combine multiple functions into a single unit and provides additional functionality that doesn't exist today for airlines. So the AFIRS 220 and 228 talk to all the data buses on the aircraft based on parameters given to the box by the end user, sends information to the ground via the satellite system, Iridium satellites, which is unique because typically it's only canned messages that go to the ground today on modern aircraft. Our box is the first box on aircraft that actually sorts through the information and sends specific reports based on specific conditions.
What is the blue box technology? What does a typical installation entail?
Well, the blue box, the AFIRS 220 and 228, is an onboard computer which monitors all of the data, as I said, and creates a file that contains all the same information as the black box, but more information, and monitors that data to see what parameters the customer may need to improve the operations of his organization or to give maintenance feedback on what might need to be fixed. I think the uniqueness of the AFIRS unit is that it combines a data collection, data analysis, data transmission, voice connectivity, and the ability for information to be sent to computers on board the aircraft, sometimes called electronic flight bags or EFBs, where the pilots can get information about runway conditions or the weather, all through a single device and a single antenna on the aircraft.
What are some of the challenges that you've faced so far?
The aviation business has been founded on a foundation of if you don't change anything, you won't have any problems, because if it works, keep it that way and you'll be safe. So introducing new technologies in the aviation world is a very difficult thing. The other thing that surprised me was the amount of time, effort, and energy goes into the approval of putting a device on the aircraft. It's been a challenge for sure.
I can imagine. What is your revenue model?
Well, we do sell the AFIRS units to the airlines, and based on the type of aircraft and size of aircraft, it's typically $40,000 to $50,000 per aircraft for the kit. They do their own installation. Once the aircraft is up and running, we charge on a usage basis for both the data transmitted up or down to the aircraft and for the voice if they're using the SATCOM solution on the aircraft. So it is a recurring revenue model where the customers would be paying for years after the installation. one of the real advantages of the business is the fact that an aircraft has typically a 30-year life. And once a piece of equipment's installed on it, if it's working and doing the job, it will be there for 30 years.
Can you walk us through what would happen in the event of an emergency? Like, how is this different than what already exists?
Well, one of the features that we have demonstrated to the aviation world through a conference that was held by the International Civil Aviation Organization in Montreal in December, ICAO, was a demonstration of what's called triggered data streaming. So the ability to stream data off the black box in real time was always thought to be too expensive, and there was no way that anybody could manage the data or do anything with it. What we demonstrated was the capability of picking a parameter out of a file that loss of cabin pressure or no fuel or one of those, and take all of the data that would go to the black box and stream it in real time to the ground. We call that Flyht stream. What we're doing with that for a practical application is what we call data on demand, where a customer can give us a list of parameters and a time frame. We can request that from the box while in flight. They can download it and analyze the information.
What can airlines save by using this?
Well, we've had customers that say they save $100,000 per tail net of our costs, just on the maintenance of the aircraft by having accurate times and the ability to get aircraft maintained and turned around quickly. I'm not sure that they tell us how much they really save because they know we're going to be negotiating a new contract every 5 years, but we know it's in excess of $100,000 per tail per customer per year, so significant savings.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to tell us more about this today.
Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate the interview.
For more information on Flyht and other companies that we'll be featuring, go to our website at Kidela.com.